Once again, my phone's loud. Don't mind me while I figure out for the second time what I'm doing. Only this time I can talk a little bit louder. Although I won't be as long on as I was earlier. So it was darker. I've honestly, once again, no idea what I'm doing. I am guessing at how this works. My son wants to stream one of these days, and before I throw him on here, I'm trying to figure it out myself, so I know what he's in for. He's only 14, but he's autistic and he's very smart. But he can get ahead of himself sometimes, and social aspects escape him. I was on earlier for about 3 hours, but nothing like recorded, which honestly isn't a bad thing because I looked ridiculous anyway. But for his sake, I'm gonna try it out again this time and see if things record by the time we're done here. So I'm not gonna game right now. You know, maybe one of these future streams I'll do that, but right now I just want to go over some basic stuff that I do on the side. I know my stream name is difficult to pronounce. It's actually 3 words, so let's just get that on the table. It's Eris Till Hartley. Yes, I know it's all... Ooh, I'm turning down my color. I know it's all smashed together. I actually created the username when I was a kid back in the late 90s. I was big into Final Fantasy. Still am. And, you know, I would play even Rebirth on here if I hadn't already finished it and in hard mode. But maybe I'll do it again just cause. I mean, I already beat it back in late February when it came out. But, I mean, it is what it is. But the 3 words derive from the 3 Final Fantasy games. Final Fantasy VII, Eris. Final Fantasy IX, Till, which is from Garnet Till Alexandros, and of course Renoa Hartley from Final Fantasy VIII. So just throwing that out there, that's why the name's like that. That's what I've had for 2 decades now. So if you ever run across that name, it's me. It's always me. I don't know anybody who's ever had that name except me. And if somebody takes it, I'm gonna get mad. But I've always been an avid fan of the Final Fantasy series. And, I mean, I've played Parasite Eve, I've played the original Doom, and I mean, like, PC version Doom. with the 50 levels and the million doors, and all the secrets in it. I've gone through all the Assassin's Creeds, and simulation games like Civilization. I'm very excited actually for Civilization 7 to come out, because with Civilization 6, I always play as France in order to win the culture. However, it's glitched, where if you have so many, the game just freezes up and crashes over and over. I've been told that if you reboot it like a million times, eventually it pushes through, but I don't have time to do that. I can only reboot it like 5 or 6 times before I'm like, forget this, I'm doing it again. And insanity is always repeating the same thing and expecting a different outcome, and I must be insane because I keep doing that. Just praying that it'll do something different. Stardew Valley, Fallout, Skyrim, Oblivion, all the Fallouts. I mean, I can go 3, 4, Las Vegas, 76. I've watched the show on Amazon, which is really good, by the way. I was shockingly surprised. And, I've done the mobile app games, like Granny and things like that. Although I don't have the patience for it. If I have to play a horror game, it's going to be something like Silent Hill. I'm not a big Resident Evil fan. I never have been, because it's just more of an action game, and I really preferred the Silent Hill series, where the story I felt was a little bit more involved. And I don't know, I really liked that series. Downpour was one of my absolute favorites next to Silent Hill 2. Instead of replaying Silent Hill 2, I actually watched a different streamer play the entire thing through, just because I was like, oh, I can't do this with Maria again. You play it. Because I was very interested in the difference in the gameplay, and I was happy. I don't know what everybody else is complaining about, because honestly, it's not that bad. I have 4 children of my own and 3 bonus kids or stepkids, and most of them live with me, and 2 of my stepchildren don't at the moment. The younger one is up in Erie, and then the oldest one, he is 20 years old and on his own. In fact, actually, he was kind of bugging me today, asking if I would need him to go bring him some paperwork. Kid's sweet, kind of helpless. He still asks for help. Pretends he doesn't need it, but then is constantly about everybody giving him help. It's hard to teach him responsibility, so hard. I am in Pennsylvania, and it is obviously, as you can see down here in the corner, it's 9 p.m. I tried to stream earlier, but given the fact that I have a bunch of kids and it's Sunday, they're home, they came home from church, my grandmother likes to take them. I'm not a big church goer. I mean, you do you, but it's, I encourage my kids to do whatever they feel like they want to do as far as that level goes. And they want to go, so they go. I was online when they came home, and it was question. So, it's 9 o'clock, they're all tucked in, or at least relaxing in their own perspective areas. We used to use the word disperse children. So, I run a business. I've been on Etsy for about 10 years. My stepchildren require a lot of help, so I can't have a normal 9-to-5 job because I have to be available for them all the time. And even now, like yesterday, I got a phone call at 9:30 about my youngest stepson saying, oh, he's lost his cool again and punched through the floor. And I'm like, oh, man. They didn't have the greatest upbringing. And so, you know, my stepdaughter's not in the room right now, but she may come in during this, and then she'll be questioning who I'm talking to, what I'm doing, and then she'll ask me questions because she has a difficult time understanding social norms. She is very bright, but she pretends that she's not in order to engage people in conversation because she thinks it's cute. We've been over it a million times. It's not cute, and it makes her look bad, but she still does it because it's just a bad habit of hers. For example, she had come in the room yesterday and said, "Hey, is next month the last month of the year?" And I just said, "Is the sky blue?" Come on, you know the answer to that question. She's like, "It is the last month of the year?" I'm like, nah. It's one of those things where you just want to go, no, we got 15 months in a year. She'll come in the room. We have 5 clocks, no joke, in my area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she will look dead at me with the one right at her back and go, "What time is it?" And I'll say, "What's the clock say?" And she'll say, "I can't read that." She can read it. She just doesn't want to. I apologize, my hair is all over the place. I can never keep it over here, so it's constantly covering up this eye. It's just the way it is. You'll just have to deal with it. I'm sorry. It's dark, but this is the time of day where if there's too many lights, I'm going to get a migraine. So I can see, like, I watch a lot of queso with my kids. He'll be on here in about 30, 45 minutes. He always says 9, but never is. And that's okay. He's a little late, but that's cool. It's cool. He's fun to watch. But I heard some stuff. Okay, maybe not. Maybe. I'm actually in my living room. I don't have fancy equipment. This is literally a laptop. See, I can pick it up. This is an old Dell of mine. It's a gaming laptop, but it has a, what is it called? GTX, not an RTX. I bought it a long time ago in order to handle Civilization 6 when it first came out. So if you can remember when Civilization 6 came out, that's how old it is. And this thing has endured quite a bit. I've taken it apart multiple times and cleaned it up, replaced some parts in it. I am by no means an expert, but I am one of those people where it's like, if it's going to get fixed, I'm going to fix it. So in this case, now that it's, I hope, recording, I'll have to go over some things again with this. Alright, so what I wanted to go over was Ancestry and Find a Grave. Find a Grave is a free site that anybody can make an account on. And honestly, the photos that are put on here are put up by anybody who wants to. There are 6 photos waiting to be transcribed. I'm actually going to click on it just because I want to see what happens. See if there's actually, yep, see. They're actually very quick. Like I said, anybody can click that. They could be photos from Germany that need transcribed. Whenever somebody, uploads photos, like I could upload them right here. And I can choose to upload them to a certain cemetery and a location or whatever. What I usually do, though, is for me, this is my profile. It's public. You can see this if you want to. There's nothing special just because I'm actually logged into it that's any different aside from, these 2 little things. Everything else is exactly what you'd see if you actually looked at my Graver ID. And so what I was trying to say is, whenever, you upload a photograph, the best way I have found to do it is, let me go into a few of these. Hang on. Where are... favorites. There we go. Okay. So, these are cemeteries I've actually either been to or, you know, I have people in it that I know. So, Clinton Cemetery is a very old cemetery, as you can see, was established in 1882. This is actually a photograph that was taken by this person right there. I have taken a few photographs myself of this particular cemetery because it's very old, and I've spoken with the guy who is the pastor here about this cemetery, and what he has told me, and 1, 2, 3, 4, these photos were taken by me. So I will show you what they are. So this cemetery is actually split in half, and it's very hilly, like very hilly. So okay, here's the bottom, and if you are pulling into the parking lot, like I was standing right in the parking lot, and you look up, this hill extends so far up, and these are the first graves really put here, right in the beginning. And if you can see way over here, this over here is an older section of the cemetery. So what I was told by the pastor, because I came here looking for a very specific side. This is me now facing the other direction. So the parking lot is over here, where I was facing, taking a picture this way. Now I'm up over here and I'm taking a picture over here. So there used to be, as you can see, there's a little bit of a driveway right here. And if you want to click on the original, it's easier to zoom in on some of the stuff. Okay, so over here, what I was told was there once upon a time was a very old church, very, very old church. And you can see the little driveway markings right here, and these little stones. They're pretty spread out. What you don't know from a glance is there's actually like a body right next to one another. And the reason why you don't see the stones is because this owner told me that the previous person who to manage the place, whenever a stone would get knocked over, he would just pick it up and put it in a pile. And eventually, the guy got so annoyed and about looking at this pile of stones, he hired somebody to come over, dig a hole way in the back over here somewhere, and bury them. So literally in one spot is a whole bunch of these gravestones, all broken up. Some of them just fallen over. So, you know, just because you don't see a stone doesn't mean the person's not there. They are there. So half the cemetery, the information of it is actually missing. Because on top of that, the man moved on with his family. And, sorry, I heard footsteps. Again. So, the man had moved on, and when he passed away, the family who inherited all his stuff, this pastor who's now in charge told me they just threw it away. And I mean, it's not like they had computers in the 1800s, so everything that was documented was written down in these booklets, and the family tossed them. They're long gone. And it's a shame, because then that means a lot of information is now lost, especially about people who could be easily found in here if that information was still there. So that is why I took these two pictures, and that is why I wrote this as well. Because I took this picture, as you can see, I can write anything I want. I'm not going to change what I wrote, because what I wrote was what I wrote, and I took this picture, as you can see, a year ago. I have been doing this on here for the pictures for about 2 years now. And this particular cemetery was primarily of interest to me because, okay, this is the opposite way. The stones are buried back there somewhere. So I was standing here, took a picture of where to go? That way. Okay, so this is this way, and then this is facing the other direction that way. Okay, so, and those stones I showed you a minute ago are actually over here. Okay, so this the cemetery part is very unkept because of its difference. But on this side, so you have this side, and then quite literally this side. And this cemetery is primarily of interest to me because of these people right here. This is my family. These are my first family who came over from Britain and settled here in the late 1700s. And that is why I was primarily interested in this cemetery. I know this picture is almost 10 years older, but from that parking lot, this is the parking lot I actually was standing down at the very bottom when I took those pictures, way down here. So when I'm pointed upwards and looking up at, as you can see, there's the church again. Okay, so the church actually is right over here. You can see the building kind of right there. But that's to give you an idea of how high this hill goes. It actually keeps going higher than that even. So, and again, let's point the other way. So, that's why this cemetery was primarily of interest to me, personally. But back to my point, so let's just say I took a bunch more pictures. In order to upload them directly to the cemetery, the easiest way to do that is this button right here, Upload Headstone Pictures. So I have headstone pictures actually for another cemetery. I have not put them on my computer yet. I'm going to. They're for a cemetery called Lakeside up in Erie, Pennsylvania. I was up there with my stepson, showing him some research. This is going to sound a little crazy, but my stepson, he doesn't understand empathy. It's a consequence of his upbringing with his biological mother. So he's up there. It's very intensive therapy. I have myself CPTSD, which means complex post-traumatic stress disorder. In layman's terms, it is, you know, how some people suffer one event of trauma. Complex is suffering multiple, to the point where you almost normalize it. And it doesn't have to be anything like severe, like an assault or a near-death experience. It can literally just be neglect over a period of 10 years, or 5 years, or 2 years, or 1 year. You know, as long as it's continuous like that, you know, especially for a child at a young age, it can do some massive damage. They lose self-esteem. They lose trust. It's very hard to get back once it's lost. It takes a lot of work. But the problem, especially in like his situation, is he has to recognize that there is a problem. He says there's a problem, but he doesn't think it's him, and that's the problem. Just the other day, I got a call, like I said, from the staff saying he was punching through the floor. And then when he called me this afternoon, he was telling me, oh, but I said I'm sorry. And I said to him, honey, you can always say you're sorry. We don't, but you've already done the deed. I mean, because he wants privileges right now, and he can't have them as long as he keeps having these outbursts, and that's unfortunate. But, you know, fingers crossed, because this facility is great. The therapists are great. Everybody seems to be really great. I don't really have a problem with this place at all. And they're doing what they can. And it's really up to him at the end. You know, I'm all about mental illness and, you know, therapy and things like that. But at the end of the day, I mean, there's EMDR therapy, there's DBT therapy. He's going through the DBT therapy, which is kind of like, it's trauma therapy, but it's also bringing to reality of you can't attack that person just because you're mad. As you can't. And nobody's going to excuse your mental illness just because you have it. You know, it's not up to everybody else to dance around you. It's up for you to, you know, respect other people. So that is, you know, we're trying. All right. So back to this. All right. So this is suggested edits. Now, again, this didn't really record earlier, but what I was showing earlier was the fact of I have all these memorials that I already manage. Now, there are a lot of members on here who do this for the sake of collecting. And I have a feeling one of my kids, I think so. Yep. So, I'm going to have to end this here in a minute. But the point is, a lot of people on here they'll collect memorials, they'll create memorials and try and get as many memorials as they want because, you know, for them, it's a collection game. To me, every person is a person, and if they're not my relative, then it's not my business. So if somebody makes a suggestion of a change, I always agree to it unless I actually know them or they're trying to erase them out of a place. Then I have a problem with it. Because my whole thing is, I don't know them. I've taken the photos, I've recorded the information, but I do not know them. So if somebody makes a suggestion, then that's that. All right, well, I'm going to end this.